And now for the thrilling conclusion of Skarbrand versus SPB. We're actually going to flip to Skarbrand's perspective here as he takes Bretonnia into SPB's Kislev for a clash of human nations once more. This time, the Royal Knights of Bretonnia will be up against the tough and hardy Kislevites, led by nice witch Kislevits, that is. They've got some armored Kossars up front. Kossars as a second line with spears and axes mixed. A third line of glaives. Yeah, Ice Guard glaives with the Regiment of Renown Akshina's ambushers mixed in there as well. Of course, for the net. And we've got some Kislevit warriors for anti-large. Ice Witch, Lord of Tempest, of course, up with the anti-large Ice Worm. Frost Worm, whatever you want to call it. Artist formerly known as. Anyway, we've got for Skarbrand here, the Fanchantress leading the way for Bretonnia. Looks like he's got a Royal Hippogriff Knight over on the far side. Yeah, it's going to be 4 Knights of the Realm, in fact. With lots of archers here, peasant bowmen, just regular old peasant bowmen. No fancy ammunition types. We've got spearmen at arms and some peasant mobs as well. And the Green Knight, of course, as you saw in the opening. Notably, Frostworms do not have magic damage, although anti-large with 445 weapon strength. We see already the Ox of Misha being unleashed in the back line there. That has the discouraged contact effect. With a nice big AoE vortex will be great for taking out these archers, which is going to be the main threat to the Ice Guards here. Of course, no shields, light, sort of maybe medium armor at best. Of course, they've got glaives, they've got cool ice bows, but they are going to be very vulnerable to getting countershot by peasant archers. So let's see how that dynamic plays out here. A little bombardment and counterfire also from the ambushers and everything else. Focus fire. One peasant bowman quite efficiently while the others are trying to get in range here. We're going to see bombardment drop. The Comet of the Fae going to drop here and manage to be fully dodged by Kislev. But the flank attacks are starting to develop. Knights of the Realm looking for whatever gaps they can find. Right now, the Green Knight also getting pretty well pincushioned. I think he took the net from Akshina's ambushers and was eating all the magical arrows of the Ice Guards, who definitely deal magic damage with their ranged attacks and magic damage in melee, so Green Knight could have a little bit of a tough time here, but the Knights are collapsing. Get a nice rear charge here with the glaives being unbraced since they were charged from behind. Of course, once they stand up and start fighting back, it'll be pretty nasty for the Knights of the Realm. They're going to quickly cycle in, cycle out. See another unit impacting over on the far side, so Skarbrand's really got his work cut out for him here, trying to keep his cavalry moving and not get bogged down in engagements against these Ice Guard. Yeah, so far, a little Earthblood here, a little preemptively healing. Beautiful charge from the Royal Hippogriff Knights, going to impact Kossar Spears. Granted, they are just Kossar Spears, so not that much of a huge loss. Kislevit Warriors going to move in with their anti-large, what are they, almost like billmen. Got like pike hooks and hammers and whatnot. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, the Royal Hippogriff Knights taking some pretty cost-inefficient damage there on that engagement as they kind of get swarmed a little bit. But Bretonnia is advanced despite taking some significant losses. They were able to come in here, focus fire one Ice Guard very efficiently with a couple peasant bowmen. Hawks of Misha respond to rout them away. Only a handful more peasant bowmen left, actually, and there's only one more unit, well, a couple more units of Ice Guard, each at like half health, so both sides taking some losses, but right now the grind may be going ever so slightly in Kislev's favor, but things could definitely turn around if the Green Knight can get solid contact. You can see him kind of chasing the Ice Witch around at this point. Ice Witch doesn't want to take heads-up engagement against him, obviously, him being a much stronger character in melee, at least from an attack and a defense perspective. But maybe with support, she could try and get an engagement on him, or even just go after the Fanchantress with her anti-large. The Ice Worm's anti-large, that is. Faye doesn't have anti-large, of course, but their Comet going to be dropped here. Makes a beautiful impact. Murders my frame rate as well as it blows up a bunch of Kislev infantry. Yeah, the Akshina's ambushers, Regiment of Renown, took a huge hit there, as did the Kislevit warriors. But right now, Kislev is sustaining fairly well. Yeah, the loss of peasant archers is definitely pretty painful, but we've got a handful more filtering back in. What's even more painful is all the damage on these Hippogriff Knights. And yeah, the Kossar Spears, even the armored Kossars with their pistols can kind of respond a little bit here. Ice Guard glaives fighting back, finishing off what's left of the Knights of the Realm there. But the Ice Witch also 2v1 engagement versus the Fae and the Green Knights. Not going to be what she wants, so she's going to have to maneuver away from that. Keep calling down those blizzards. Keep the pressure up on peasant archers. Don't allow them to get set and shoot into any high-value squishy ranged units. Ooh, right here, nice rear charge once again into that unit of Ice Guard. Relatively healthy unit of Knights of the Realm, as healthy as can be asked for right now. You get a nice Earthblood opportunity here if the Fey Enchantress has any Winds of Magic. Hit both the Hippogriff Knights and these Knights of the Realm here, but the Hippogriff Knights, they get the trap from the ambushers. And yeah, they're going to get torn to shreds with all these anti-large armor piercing troops. Take massive HP damage. Earthblood comes in a little bit late, but will sustain a few of their models, perhaps, as they get up in the air and try and get to safety. Leadership might allow them to come for one more attack run here. The Fey Enchantress Drain also getting some pretty good value at this point, but both the Bretonnian characters are getting pretty low on HP as well. So many things to try and heal, and so little healing, relatively speaking. But yeah, Kislev taking a pretty decisive lead on the balance of power at this point. Big hit comes in on the Fey Enchantress from the Ice Witch. And despite damage also on the Ice Witch from the Green Knight, she manages to terror out Fey Enchantress. And with that, I think that's probably going to be game. We'll see if that cascades into full-on army losses here. But regardless, Skarbrand is in huge trouble right now. Yeah. Hippogriff Knights making one final attack run, but unfortunately are charging into the front of the glaive, so really don't do much impact damage at all. And they're going to face their last few volleys. Yeah, Fey Enchantress just straight routing now. Ooh, the Ice Witch is almost down. The Green Knight's almost been able to finish her off, but critically, very closely has not. And yeah, I mean, Kislev took an absolute beating there, but they've got a handful of units still alive. And Bretonnia also just kind of struggling to finish anything off here. There it is. Victory for SPB. He moves on to the final. Congratulations to him. Congratulations also to Skarbrand. Very well played. Great showing, honestly, from XMT Stalwart. And goes out honorably as Bretonnia. Very honorable, you know, human versus human matchup. Ultimately, I mean, the Green Knight's pretty much able to pay for himself. Fey Enchantress also gets some solid enough value. Where he really kind of fell short a little bit. It's odd to say, but the Peasant Bowman needed to get a little bit more value shooting these Ice Guards and like the Akshinas ambushers as well. Great targets for them to shoot at. Yeah, I mean, one, the Ice Guard was very well limited. You can see the power of that mass low-tier shooting was able to shut them down. The other two, however, were well protected along the Akshinas ambushers, all over 1,000 damage value right there. That's really the backbreaker. Armored Kossar is also a very good choice in this matchup. Bretonnia doesn't really have a lot of things that can compete with them in melee, oddly enough, even though they're only mid-tier infantry. I mean, you kind of have to play something like Foot Squires, which are just not efficient in other ways. So definitely very interesting. Obviously, the Halberds going to be good against Bretonnia, as always. Cheap Halberds, yeah, 1,200 value on them, 10,000 damage dealt with 100 kills on one. Very respectable. For Bretonnia's side, I mean, despite the challenges, some of the Knights of the Realm were able to pay for themselves. The Hippogriff Knights definitely also a little bit of a letdown here. But, yeah, hard to really fault him too much. I don't know, maybe you trade out the Hippogriffs for some more infantry value there. But then again, you might just get stomped by other elements of the Kislev army. So definitely a tough one for sure. But Skarbrand played it as best as he could, so we'll give him a big thumbs up from all of us, and thank you for watching. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you found it entertaining, informative, useful, or otherwise liked it. Go ahead and like it. I very much appreciate it. We'll be moving on to the rest of the semifinals and the finals very shortly, so keep it right here. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.